everybody, and welcome to another episode of Every Day's a Train Wreck. I'm your host, Marley Major, and it's December. And while this is the second December we've been recording the podcast, I don't know, the first December, first of all, I had broken my back like 1 second before that. And yeah, it was a lot going on at that point. So I didn't really do like holiday specific stuff, but this year I'm kind of in the mood to do some holiday specific. So what I thought we would do is have a little fun, and I would talk to you about a little trending topic. In fact, we just got a press request for this, and I thought, why not take this press request that from a really big publication? Who knows if we'll get in it, we hope. But I thought if this big publication is looking for experts to comment, why shouldn't I just comment directly to you guys, right? So this episode is going to be all about one of my favorite things, cookies. And it's about a holiday cookie swap. Now, the best part about a holiday cookie swap is that it doesn't matter the holiday, right? You can do Kwanzaa, for God's sakes, I'm sure. You can do Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever. But the idea is there's so many great components to it, right? One is you get together with people at this time of year, which is huge. You can do it like an open house where you can have people kind of coming in and out and dropping off their cookies, that kind of thing. And then you can put packages together for everybody. It is a great way to involve kids or even grandchildren, or even have it be like grandparents and grandchildren. And I have all kinds of fun stuff if you want to turn it into actually like the full event, not just the, hey, we're swapping our cookies, but like kind of around the theme. And if you wait till the end, I'm going to give you maybe one of the most magical cookie swap tip and trend ideas, especially if you don't want to gain weight. I don't know who does want to gain weight during the holidays. I feel like everybody these days is on Ozempic. So maybe, I don't know, like I'm not on Ozempic. I probably should be, but I wonder, what is it like if you try to eat a lot of cookies on Ozempic? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe somebody could like give us this in the comments. But without further ado, let's jump into how to do a cookie swap party goddess style. So first of all, what is it? Net is that everybody brings one batch of, I'm going to say, homemade cookies, right? Or at the very least, if you're going to say that you didn't home make them, they should be from like a good bakery. Like to me, this is not the kind of time where you want to just phone it in, right? And be like, oh, I went to the supermarket and I got these random, sugar cookies. And oh, by the way, I'm going to bring them in the package, like plastic package with the QR code on them. That's one of my biggest pet peeves at events, let alone when somebody brings something with a QR code or any kind of plastic situation. But the second thing is when they actually get served that way. So let's go party goddess style, and please don't ever do that. So bring one batch, and the host or hostess can decide the rules, right? Do you want it just to be like a dozen? How many people are you inviting? How many people are coming? Do you want everybody to bring 2 dozen? To me, once you start getting the kitchen messy, and anytime there's flour involved, which is involved in a lot of cookies, you might as well just make a bunch of them, right? But the idea with a cookie swap is that each person kind of creates their one signature cookie that it could be their grandmother's recipe. It could be really amazing, just tasting, but maybe it doesn't look so hot. It doesn't have to look like amazingly wonderful. It could just be the best tasting freaking cookie you've ever had in your life, right? So that's one option. Or you can do it where you have everybody do a different recipe, or that it has to be a new recipe, right? So you're laying the playing field, leveling the playing field if you're kind of going to do some kind of competition around it, let's say. We'll talk about some of that stuff in a little bit. But the idea is that everybody makes one type of cookie, and then all your friends are going to come together and they are going to bring their individual kind of cookie, right? And then here's the beautiful part. Everybody swaps. It's like a clothing swap party, kind of like, yeah, it's like a trading post, a Christmas trading post. And everybody gets all the different cookies from different people. And remember, it doesn't just have to be cookies. Like I love me some amazing, like peanut brittle, bark. Some of these things are really easy. It can be like holiday candy. The one exception I am going to give you guys for this cookie swap, even though it's not exactly a cookie, But I am going to just contradict myself and say there's one exception to almost everything in the world, and that is ribbon candy. Okay, ribbon candy. Like, I don't even know how to describe my love for really good ribbon candy that when you open the package, you can actually like smell it. It's the good quality stuff. So if you have a bougie friend out there, especially if you know they don't have a lot of time, you could say, listen, bougie friend, ribbon candy is really expensive and not always easy to come by depending on the year. You can say, oh, why don't you be the one to bring the ribbon candy, right? And it's expensive. They're not going to have to make it. They're going to feel good that they don't have to cook or make anything. And it's going to be expensive. And so it's going to add like a super magic touch. That's just kind of what I would do, is play the guilt trip. Holiday guilt trip is really wonderful. Okay. So everybody brings a certain type of cookie. Then you swap them at the event. Okay. We said that, but there are all kinds of fun ways that you can swap them at the event. Like as far as what kind of containers they could go in. So the very basic is people bring their cookies and they bring a container, an empty container with them. And, you kind of load the container. That's very minimal. I, being like gift wrapping girl, decor girl, sort of abhor that whole thing. So what I would like to see you guys do is have the host or hostess be the one to provide all the different receptacles, right? To package the cookies in. Now, you can pick one type that's good for everybody, right? I think that Chinese takeout containers, the literally the ones that have like the Chinese food with the little metal handle, are beyond. Because, and I would probably get the right ones. I mean, the white ones, unless you're Asian and for some reason you want it to say dim sum or whatever those boxes say. But here's why I love Chinese takeout containers. You can get them on Amazon delivered like the next minute. You can get them at like, I don't know, what is it? Like Cost Plus World Market and places like that will have them. And they often are not just white. They'll have like clear. They'll have glitter. They have all different sizes. And here's the fun thing. If you use Chinese takeout containers and you do them in different colors or you do them in different sizes. So let's pretend you're going to have 20 people at your party. So I don't know, probably get a bunch of extras just to be safe. I mean, if it were me, I'd probably get like 36 packages just because it's not going to be that expensive. I'll use them for something else. But you could probably get away with 2 dozen if you're going to have 20 people come. And then the nice thing is if you use small individual Chinese takeout containers, you could group things by cookie type, right? So you could put like all the chocolate ones in one little Chinese takeout container. You could put all the like super holiday ones. You could run a contest, like which is going to be voted the best of the cookies. Maybe that one gets its own cellophane bag and ribbon is tied as part of the whole package. So number one, if you're stuck, always go with the Chinese takeout containers, because here's the other thing too, is if you've got kids, the kids can draw on them. You can have the kids with the glue and the glitter, and then they don't even have to be perfect because everybody loves like what kids design, and that'll keep them busy. So I love that. Or you can also keep the kids busy ahead of the party, right? Like a couple days ahead, you give them all the craft supplies and stuff and have them decorate all these boxes. Okay. Now, another thing, you want to make sure that if you're going to do something where you've got individual, like more than one tin or box, okay, that you have some way to kind of contain all that. So you're not sending like already stressed mom out to the station wagon holding 7 little boxes of whatever that she's going to end up dropping, right? So maybe you put them, I don't know, you have like a little basket or tray or something, and then you wrap the whole thing in cellophane. Because let's keep in mind, you can get really inexpensive trays and baskets. Or by the way, I love to spray paint those unfortunate baskets that you sometimes get that are just like kind of holding things together, whether it's like with the random bath bombs or something you got, or like a white elephant gift. And then it's kind of that neutral kind of straw color basket. But if you spray paint it like red or you spray paint it silver, that's a whole new basket. So where I'm headed with that is You can have, like, let's say Chinese takeout containers. Then you want some kind of receptacle. A roll of cellophane is not expensive, and it doesn't have to be like, the very thin, nice, perfect cellophane. Like, get the jumbo roll, right? Kind of like almost like butcher paper. Those are things that you just can never have enough of, and you can wrap every package with. And here's the other thing. They don't all have to be the same. So remember I mentioned the Chinese takeout containers, and I was like, okay, can I have all these little colors? Well, let's say you have one basket that, you had and you decide to spray paint, and you had another few laying around. Like, we always do this for Easter in our office. We take all these different baskets that we've gotten and collected and have shown up during the year. We spray paint them all kinds of different Easter colors and stuff. And then we'll glue on the Easter flowers, etc. And then we'll deliver them to like our staff, for our staff's kids, or that kind of thing. So everything doesn't need to match. So if you're going to have this tray that's kind of a basket, it doesn't all need to be exactly the same. I mean, you're going to try to, of course, have the same amount of cookies approximately in it, unless you're sending, one batch home to somebody who's got, I don't know, millions of kids. But so keep that in mind. Not all of them need to look the same. And that goes for the receptacles just in general. So let's say you're like, I'm not going to use Chinese takeout containers and I don't know what else to use. Okay. You could just have tins that you can, all different size tins. You can have tins that the kids put stickers on. You can have tins and you can glue ribbon. You can decorate them all differently, is what I'm trying to say, as long as the haul inside is basically the same. Now, a few things to keep in mind. Holiday cookies, at least like my favorites. Oh, do I love this? I think it's like Mexican wedding cookies they're called. But they're those really white powdery ones that almost are like shortbread inside. So you're going to have powder all over the place. I don't necessarily want that on my, chocolate bark. It's not going to kill me, but I'm going to sort of want my powdery situation separate from some of the other delicacies. Okay. Or let's say separate from like my kitchen sink cookie. So you might want to just have some basic cello bags. Again, super inexpensive on Amazon Prime or like Michael's, all kinds of places like that have them. By the way, you can even get them, the little bags that like for corsages or for candy bars and stuff like that, right? But shove them with this. The other great thing is if you have a lot of those bags to close. So we are very big around here on recycling ribbon. I think I'm obsessed with ribbon. I love like the French ribbon and the wires and all that kind of stuff. But, you put that on a package and it's very expensive. So what I do is I'll wrap the kids' packages for the holidays and then I watch the kids open them and then I kind of like sneakily collect the trash. But then I take the ribbons back. Okay. And then I'm going to use them for something like this or some other, or like to decorate the Christmas tree or something. So you might have only this little piece of ribbon of one kind, but it's a jewel, right? So use that. You could use that to tie up your whole basket. You could use it to tie up your whole cellophane thing. Again, you don't need all of them to be uniform. And then, sometimes at Christmas you get like the plastic poinsettia thing that was attached to the basket that got mailed to you from Harry and David or whatever. Well, it could look really cheesy, but if you take that and then kind of regift it and repurpose it and make it and, add some crystals, add some fabulous ribbon, this package now looks like it's $1 million and it's not just a cookie swap. Okay. So feel free to recycle the ribbon. The key thing about recycling ribbon though, is that you don't want people to know it. You want it to sort of feel like you almost got it like at a Sotheby's ribbon auction. And how you do that is you either iron the ribbons, be very careful though. Okay. Like put a towel or something, depending on how delicate they are, so that they don't have those crease marks. Cause that's a dead giveaway. If they have like the crease marks from last year's package or the ribbon end is frayed, huge pet peeve of mine. Please do not ever, 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 ever tie a ribbon on anything or use ribbon on anything that is even slightly frayed or that is not at either an angle or like makes a V. Okay. It's not that difficult. It makes a big difference. There's no place in the world for just like a cut off plain ribbon. Okay. Not anybody who's listening to Every Day's a Train Wreck at the Party Goddess anyway. So this is the time you collect all kind of your little baubles and stuff. Here's the other thing. Let's say you're like, well, great. You should have told me that last year. I would have been saving this stuff and collecting it to add to my packages. Okay, so I didn't. But you know what you can do? I've been going on walks and I'm on this new track on my walk in the neighborhood. So it's this pine tree that I wasn't familiar with before. And I'm telling you, I know it's a pine tree, but the pine cones almost look like little wooden dried roses. It's really crazy. And I've sort of just been coming home and bringing them and collecting them and putting them near some acorns and stuff like that. So you guys, spray paint some almonds. Go get the almonds in the shell. Spray paint them a little bit with like some gold and silver. Use old pine cones. Use pine cones you collect. Thread some ribbon. Here's another freaking amazing hack. My daughter and I went to get our Christmas tree last week. Shocker, because I missed the deadline to do it with the school and the whole thing, which is what I wanted to do. Only bonus was that we have a new Chevy, like Silverado pickup that I felt so great because I was like, oh, we won't have to pay $100 delivery. Now, that doesn't pan out, of course, because of how much the truck costs, but you get it. So here's the thing. When we went to pick up the Christmas tree, and maybe some of you who haven't gotten your Christmas tree yet, at the lot, they trim them and they, do you want the stand? And they cut it off and all that stuff. But then I noticed over on the ground, there were these piles of like Christmas tree stuff. And I was like, oh, like, can I take a couple of these? And they're like, oh yeah, totally. That's free. I filled my freaking hands. I'm sure my daughter was embarrassed, but she's always embarrassed. Full of all this amazing, just cut evergreen, 100% for free. So you know what you can do with that is you can put all that evergreen. It smells amazing, but you can put that down your table and you can put cylindrical vases and candles and a few pine cones. I mean, that could be your freaking holiday decor. Now, granted, it will start to dry, but use it on the banister and it smells so good. And guess what? It was totally free. Yes, I bought a tree, but you get what I'm saying. Okay. So those are perfect little scraps to tie on your cookie swap basket situation. So let's go back to all the different kind of containers you could be using. So we talked about ad nauseum. I'm sure you're very over the Chinese takeout container. Okay, done. The other thing is, of course, clear cellophane bags. And you can do, I love like velvet ribbon or wired ribbon or even recycled ribbon. By the way, Etsy sometimes has like this sari, what is it called? Like from the Indian saris, like sari scraps or something, or even dyed yarn and stuff. They'll have these like little packages of kind of smorgasbord, or get like a little package on Etsy of like miscellaneous buttons and stuff. And you can thread the ribbon through those and have that be the top of your package. Or another secret sauce I have is like, because I love old buttons too, is take some wire and put it through the button and kind of knot that with some ribbon for your package. So you're set with that. Of course, you can just go buy like craft boxes, with windows. I get it. Sometimes we can't just make everything. Totally understandable. Holiday tins. Okay. I still would love it if people were like, at the Goodwill or getting a bunch of different ones or old school ones, something like that. But, I get it that you can't. So get those in bulk. It's the whole thought that counts. Another thing to do is don't forget, you can do like wax seals on them to seal the ribbon. That makes like an extra special touch. All these things of where you just like tie a little something or put a little note or put a little sprig, like you get 10,000 extra points. People, honest to God, think you're Martha Stewart. And you're literally like, I got this off the back of the Christmas tree truck. Okay. Now, fabric wrap, I love. Now, there's this whole thing. I'm going to totally mispronounce it. This whole Japanese thing, like furoshiki. It's like where, you have like probably like a silk scarf or something. And then you put your packages inside and then you wrap the whole package with this fabric and you kind of tie it. You guys are going to have to Google it to get a better idea than what I'm saying. But My DIY version of that would be to use even like a bandana would work for that. And, or even you go to, I love getting men's shirts at the Goodwill and they're so inexpensive. So how about this? You go to the men's, go to Goodwill or whatever is near you and then get the men's shirts that are in like plaid. It could be flannel. This is the time you'll probably get them for $1, right? Because nobody really wants to wear those. And then cut them. Just use some kind of zigzag scissors or some kind of nice scissors so they look purposeful. Of course, you're going to wash those shirts ahead of time, but have your packaging be out of those big men's shirts and really anything else like plaid that you can find around. So get some stuff like that, dump it in the washer, and that could be a fabulously tied package. And depending on, kind of what colors and stuff are in it, go back and, again, add another pine cone, add some rosemary. Like I grow rosemary at the house and practically is like a weed around here. And I've got to tell you, you add rosemary to anything and people just think you put so much extra time. So for those of you who can plant yourself a rosemary bush, because no matter what, you can stuff that rosemary in a chicken for Easter brunch if you want it, but it goes a long way. Okay. Then custom stickers. So if you have time and you want to make some custom stickers, amazing. The other thing you can do too is you can use rubber stamps. Like I'm still that girl that has all those like old rubber stamps, that kind of collection. Well, this is kind of a fun time to just stamp them onto the stickers or onto your little cards that you're making. You can make the cards also out of like those tags that they sell at Staples. Do you know what I'm talking about? I even have them in red. And I don't think they're meant to be holiday. They're just sort of, they're like a rectangle. And then they have that little like triangular top with a hole punched in them. That's amazing. You can use the stamps on those. You can use glitter pens. You can use regular pens. You can then top it off with glue and then add some glitter. My God, people will think you're amazing. Another thing I did last year, I have a really hard time throwing away cards that are beautiful, like of any kind. Well, beautiful. Maybe I shouldn't say beautiful. Yes, of course, I have a hard time throwing away beautiful cards. But when you get a card that somebody's given you and it's like papyrus, like $4.50 or something, right? And even though they just wrote happy birthday, hope you had a great day. And it's not something that's so sentimental that you want to keep, but at the same time, it's still beautiful quality. And if you think about it, it's like printed really well, et cetera. So one of the things over the years I had done is ripped off like the front part of the card that was really pretty. And I put it with my craft stuff. And then last year I made 1 million homemade cards to attach to my packages. And so some of them were even like wallpaper things I cut out, like I have this cherry wallpaper downstairs in the house that's like silver mylar. It's very cool on the ceiling of our bar. And so I had some extra of that. And I was like, so I kind of cut that out. I had like some little Santa and stuff on some other Christmas cards people sent us. So whether it's like a card that actually comes to you or people's Christmas cards, highly recommend saving those and kind of cutting around them and then making your own gift cards. Like talk about the ultimate in sustainability. And because otherwise cards are expensive. So I should probably do a whole segment just on that. But don't forget your glitter pens, et cetera, et cetera. If you really want to get fancy, go to Paper Source. Oh my, magic. And they have that like embosser. It's not hard to do, but it's like you take your rubber stamp and you put it in the embosser stuff and then you put the embosser powder, and then it's like a little blow dryer you kind of put over it. That really elevates things. And that you can do a bunch of cards ahead of time. So that's another idea. Decorated cookie stacks. Okay, so here's the other thing. I love stacks of things, and you could do that just with your cellophane, right? Just sort of like lay your cookies almost like you're laying them on top of each other like a jelly roll, and then wrap them and stack them. But I also love things from other departments that are not supposed to be, let's say, for cookies or like Christmas time. Because let's face it, if you go to Container Store, one of those places right now, or like Pottery Barn, you're going to pay $90 billion for these Christmas, all these special things. Well, you know what I do? I go to like Ross, Dress for Less, or I go to, what's the other one? Oh, like Home Goods. And I will go to their bed and bath section where they will have, they'll have like soap and they'll have it in a silver little tray or something, or they'll have with office supplies or with kids stuff, or even a lot of times in the cooking section, they'll have all these little like, tall tins for breadsticks or something like that. Those are the places to just haul. Okay. You go to those places, you take the soap out, you use the little metal frame basket, repurpose it. But keep in mind, as soon as you leave the department, this expensive department of like Christmas cookie tins, and go to the other department, like in Home Goods, like the random kitchen section, or if you want to take our idea of this furoshikimaki Japanese wrapping piece with the fabric, hey, why not go to, we talked about the Goodwill, but you could also go just to the kitchen section, and how cute, even if it was just like a red and white terry cloth towel. Or here's another one, those Christmas towels that sometimes I wonder who buys them, because it's like, ho, ho, ho. And they have one of them in the store and they're kind of on discount. Well, that's another great idea, right? Take the one off of that and wrap them. And then guess what? The person can wash them. They can use it as a hand towel or a bar towel. So think of things like that are going to do double duty. So the person can like eat their cookies and then, oh, hey, great. This is super cute. Put it in the washing machine. And then you've got a bar towel, or you've got, napkins or something for later. So tons of ways to decorate. I would love to hear from you guys in the comments, by the way. What are some tips and tricks that I haven't thought of? But if you are not recycling the good ribbon and you're not recycling people's Christmas cards, highly recommend. Okay, so let's take a second and talk about activities. Because to me, this is part of the fun. And a cookie decorating party doesn't have to happen on like a Friday or Saturday night. To me, this is something, it's getting dark. I swear to you, here in California, it feels like it's dark at like 2:20. It's not, but night feels like it falls really early. So you could even do it like on a Monday night or a Wednesday night. Don't even get near the weekend in December, because we already know that it's going to be so much, everybody's going to have so many things to do. Or you can even just do it like kind of a Sunday afternoon party, and you don't have to overthink it. So if you're going to do it, have it be for a few hours. One of the things that you could also do is have a cookie decorating party, like still do the swap. But then if kids are coming, or if you know that somebody's like, oh my God, I would love to come, but I'm not going to be able to do, make the cookies ahead of time, whatever, then have a fun cookie decorating bar. Okay. I love that kind of stuff. You can do, obviously you've got to have a great beverage station. I'm big on booze myself, but I understand that, not everybody is. So you can do like the hot cocoa stations. I love to have a cider station, because I think, frick, you can put apple juice from the 99-cent store and some cinnamon sticks and a few cloves on the stove. You don't even have to be serving it to anybody. And I'm telling you, oh my gosh, does that smell just make you feel like Christmas, right? And the holidays. So I'm a big one on making some kind of cider. And then, as I'm half Irish, so we call it the brown juice. You add some brown juice to it if you want. You can have a little hot toddy. My friend, we were out to dinner last week, and she had this cough, and I thought it was very convenient, because then she was just drinking hot toddy. She's like, oh, whatever whiskey she had, but then they just add a little extra lemon and honey. So to me, I think that's a super fun bar idea. And as I say, eggnog, if you have people that will drink that, California plus Ozempic plus holiday 2025. Yeah, that's going to be rough, but depending on where you live, maybe, you can totally do it. Another activity that you can do is like do contests. So you can have, with your cookie decorating party, you can have them decorate and create the most ridiculous cookie. Or you can have, it doesn't even have to be part of the swap. You can have, people could enter like one cookie as, this is my most ridiculous cookie. And maybe it's something like from one of those bake shows, like, is it a hamburger or is it a cookie? You know what I'm saying? Okay. So funny. I thought this episode was going to be like 15 minutes. And now I'm like, girl, you better shut up. Okay. Another thing to do is recipe card trading. That's like up leveling it. So you could say to people, hey, bring the cookies and then bring the recipe that goes with it. Or you could just say, hey, bring 10 copies of your favorite recipe. That's always fun. I think that's also great too for newlyweds or couples that have just gotten engaged. I think that's a great idea, and you can put it all together and make it look really cute. The other thing too is you could have everybody bring their cookies, and then you could have a whole package decorating station. So we were talking about all these things where, kind of the host or hostess is going to package all the stuff up. But the other thing too is you could just have this massive decorating station for the cookies. You could have it be like everybody gets 2 things of cookies, right? 1 batch to go home with their family. And then the other thing that would be really nice is they create an extra one to go to, let's say, the homeless shelter or to go to the old folks home, to deliver something like that. I think is super fun. But you could also do this as a solo activity where you have the entire, like you have an area set up for all your friends with wrapping paper and ribbon and tape and stuff where your friends bring their packages to wrap. So mama can have a cocktail over here and you guys knock all of this out sometime before, Christmas Eve at like 2 a.m, like yours truly usually does. So that's, I think, a fabulous idea is you just tell everybody, hey, listen, bring all your packages that you want to do. Kind of give me an idea of how many you're going to bring. You can have like a teenager there assisting and just start knocking some of this stuff out. And it'll look great because I don't know about you, but sometimes I feel like my Christmas packages like always look the same. So, okay. Next, it's a Party Goddess event. You have to have a photo backdrop wall, something. People are going to want to post about this. So create something cute. I mean, metallic stuff looks so good. So this is the time to go for like the bad gold fringe metallic and have it in the background. Cause I'm sorry, it looks great in photos. So just tack it up to the wall, tack it to a door, whatever, but just make sure you have some kind of photo op. I think it's so fun. And then, okay, trending cookies. There's a lot to say about trending cookies these days, and you can certainly Google them, but I'm just going to give you kind of this quick rundown before we wrap it up. So obviously brown butter everything. Yours truly could eat a stick of brown butter type cookies like OMG. I love them. Hot cocoa cookies, another big trend. I'm doing cacao right now. So I was like maybe trying to think, could you substitute? I mean, it's probably cacao and cocoa might be kind of the same thing, but I don't know. I think that could be very cheeky if you say, hey, listen, like people are bringing pot brownies, but instead you're like, oh, these are hot cacao cookies. So I don't know, something kind of fun. Obviously matcha sugar cookies. Matcha is like, ding, ding, ding. And edible glitter, edible, all that stuff. I'm a big fan of. Salted caramel thumbprints. I think that's a fabulous idea. Peppermint mocha cookies. Anything that you can kind of crush candy on, except that ribbon. Don't crush my ribbon. And, the ribbon I was talking about before. Oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. The fabulous Hammond's sugar ribbon. I have to like hit rewind on my own podcast, but you know what I'm talking about. But whatever you do, don't crush that stuff. Okay. So then, chai spice cookies. It amazes me that we are still talking about chai because that feels so long ago, but people still freaking love chai. Okay. So like Linzer glow ups, stars, modern shapes. I mean, they look amazing. Let's face it, your social media with your fun metallic backdrop will be amazing. But then how about if you do a carousel of like all your different friends' cookies that they brought and you tag them in Instagram and then, or Facebook, whatever you're on, TikTok, and have everybody do the same thing. I think that's kind of cute. Okay. And then brookies. So you don't have to choose between brownies and cookies. Go with a brookie. I know there are brookies, then there are blondies, then there are so many different. I love an amazing 7-layer cookie bar cookie. To me, I think it's hard to imagine anything better. Now, before we go off on all the different options, I want you to sort of see where I'm headed here, which is you really can take this party idea and go in your own personal direction, right? So why not say it's a sweets swapping party? So somebody like, so if you love caramels that this little store makes, maybe you guys let people bring caramels and other people bring cookies. Maybe you open it up to people can have bundt cake. I mean, oh my God, I love bundt cake. I mean, why not cut the bundt cake in a bunch of different things and add that to the mix? So it's sort of like a sweet smorgasbord. There's so many things you can do. You could have some people, instead, if they don't want to bring cookies, they could bring like, a mug for everybody with like hot chocolate and some marshmallows and, tie that all up. So it can just be the idea of everybody brings something and then goes home with this magic little basket of other stuff. Now, speaking of Ozempic, speaking of people who don't love to cook or love to eat or they're dieting or whatever, this is what I wanted you to wait till the end for, because I think this is genius. I cannot remember where I saw this. I wish I could, because I would like to give her credit. Is she doesn't want to eat the cookies, the holidays and all that stuff because it's very tempting. So what she does is part of her cookie swap is she makes dog treats. I mean, that is genius. So if you have a few friends, all who have dogs, change this entire thing up, put it on its head and do a dog swap party, right? Like dog treat swap party. And dog treats are like, a little bit easier to make, but you guys could have a ball. Or do this party and then have something like at your event where, hey, do you have a dog? Like, here, come and make some fun stuff for Fido. Now, if you're going to do that, like you take a big responsibility on, you want to just make sure that you're not going to poison any dogs. And I don't know if people's dogs have like allergies like, everybody else's stuff does. But I think the dog swap idea is amazing. And even if you don't do a swap, I think it is a fabulous gift to make homemade dog treats. I don't care for the person who has everything under the sun. And I have some friends who have literally everything under the sun, but boy, they love their dogs. And if I showed up with my little bag of, magically wrapped dog treats, homemade, I think they'd lose their minds. So that is what yours truly, the party goddess, is suggesting. I want you guys to go out and have some fun. This can be a stressful time. It's a time a lot of people are sad. I was very stressed out earlier today, losing my mind. I feel much better. By the way, thanks just for doing my own podcast and talking about cookies. And thank you, Allison, my great assistant, who put together so many of these good ideas. Want to give her a shout out. And Diane, our publicist, for pushing us to get the ideas together. So anyway, have an amazing holiday. Do your cookie swap. Tell us what you did in the comments. Message us on Instagram and give us some ideas. We would love to share your ideas, because we certainly don't know it all. Okay? All right, everybody. So this is Marley, again, from Every Day's a Trainwreck, signing off. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe to the show. Even if you subscribe to the show, please watch us on YouTube. Subscribe there, like, comment. Please tell a friend. Even if you have a challenged friend who is not into the holidays, maybe just share this episode. Give them an idea, because we kind of gave packaging ideas too. So all kinds of stuff rolled into one. And if you're not following us on Instagram at The Party Goddess, please do that. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, everybody. And thanks for spending a little bit of time with us. That's all for now. Talk to you later. Bye.